go ahead and start. Hey, what's going on, positive people? What's up, Holy Culture fam? And welcome to yet another edition of the Be Positive Music Show. And it is a special edition of the show. We are broadcasting live from Planet Production Studios here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I have a special guest. Sitting with me in today is DUPRAE. Say what's up to the Holy Culture fam.
Yo, what's up, Holy Culture fam? What's up, B Plus? A pleasure being here.
Yeah. This is I just want to give a quick backstory of how this even happened. So it was on the docket for me to come to Cincinnati. Now, I'll tell you the reason why I'm here in a second, but I was linking up with K-Drama and also with D-Maub, because like I've known D-Maub since like the late 90s. I've known K-Drama about that same time too. So linking up with them because I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be in the city. I want to link up with my brother's studio here, and I just want to sit down with them, interview him. I'm sending a message, a DM with K-Drama, and at that exact moment, you sent me a DM on IG.
Wow.
Literally at the exact moment, and I was just like, I remember this dude. I was like, he had a Cincinnati hat on in a clip from like almost like a year ago, and I'm like, I think this is dude. So I went through and I scrolled back and I saw it. I'm like, I feel like he might be from Cincinnati. And you hit me up about your new single Heaven and asked me to check it out. Asked me like, how much do I rock with Christian R&B, and asked me to check it out. And I'm like, yeah, like my whole last segment of my show is dedicated to Christian R&B. So I'm like, all right. So
I didn't even know that, man.
Yeah. So you hit me with that. I'm like, all right. I think I got a better idea. Are you from Cincinnati? And you were just like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, bet. I'm gonna hit you up. So we chatted the next day, and here you are. So yeah, man. So I guess before we get into everything, let me give you a little bit of backstory of why I'm here. Yeah. So actually give a little intro of yourself, like where you grew up here in Cincinnati and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So born and raised here in Cincinnati. You know, a true Cincinnatian. You know, I don't know if that's the actual term, but
it is now. It is now.
Yeah, true Cincinnatian. But see, I grew up in the Forest Park area. I went to, Winton Woods growing up. I played ball there, made music, that's kind of where the precipice of my journey kind of started in making music, was around there, so really got into actually releasing music and working with people that actually went to my school around like 13, 14 maybe is when I started actually recording. So yeah, man, it's just been a blessing to be around here and get tapped in with, somebody else from Cincinnati, because I feel like, you don't run into that a lot, so yeah, that's where I'm from, man.
Nice. And it's like, so we were sending Telegram messages back and forth, and when you said that, like, you also mentioned that you have some connections with K-Drama and D-Maub.
Yeah,
I about fell out of my chair because I was like, actually, I'm just gonna show you this. I'm gonna show you this. This is why I was here in town. I was inducted into the Winton Woods Athletic Hall of Fame yesterday. Last night.
What? Congratulations.
Appreciate it. So
I would have never known.
We hooped at the same school.
Yeah.
At the same school. You remember that?
Did you even know that I hooped there or no?
I didn't.
You didn't. So, yeah.
I just found out just now when you said it.
Yeah.
You know that, remember like going down, you were in the old school, right?
Yeah.
You know the big mural when you're coming down?
Yeah.
Lost in the state championship?
Yes.
Bottom right hand corner. I was the point guard on that team. Yeah.
What?
So I played with Rob, played with DeForest, CJ.
You played with Rob and all them.
Yeah. So I was like the third. Really, I was the fourth option behind all them. So I was like the Rondo of that team.
Yeah.
Like I was like the glue, and that's why I went in. I went in not on the strength of like my numbers and things like that. It was just like, Coach Lump was just saying, like he said last night, like you kind of had to shape your game to fit around just all the mouths that had the feet there.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Because the team was stacked. So we have that in common. So like God is really just like wilding with like how he set all this up, even down to when you DM'd me to what I was working on to us sitting here today. So So I want to get into a little bit about just like who you are, like when you first get into rapping. Was there a specific moment when you were just like, I think this is something that I want to do? And maybe it just wasn't rapping, maybe it was singing as well.
Yeah, man, that's a great question. I feel like I always like wondered about, like if someone asked me during an interview, like, and actually going back to that time. I recall like my earliest recollection of me actually writing my own raps and rapping was like at like 8. Like and I was like,
wow.
And I was like in around like 5th grade or something like that, 3rd, 5th grade. And then like I remember there was a the NBA Live. It came out, it was like NBA Live like 08 or 07 or something like that.
Okay.
And then there was a song by Ace Hood called Take a Look at Me Now or something like that. And I remember writing a whole freestyle to that song, you know, just off of like playing 2K, and then I heard, like, that song is fire, and I just started writing. So I think I had the paper saved somewhere, like literally I kept the paper.
That's
and
dope.
I was like, and I had punchlines too. Like I wasn't just like rhyming words, like I was like, you know, barring up like you know, at like 8. So like I remember like hearing people, like some of my earliest influences like Wayne. I think Eminem was probably the first like real like hip hop influence that I like remember actually like buying a CD of and actually like, you know, studying or whatever. Now I have a lot more influences than that. We can get into that, but like, you know, that was like my earliest recollection. So I've been writing music, you know, and singing, doing both. You know, and I kind of love both equally. You know, so I've been doing that probably since about like 8 years old, and then that kind of continued to me recording like my first records around like 13, just like messing around like in my friend's studio.
Gotcha.
I think his name was Ray John McCall, so shout out to Ray John. He had a studio in his house, you know, and then my cousin, he had a studio in his house. So I was always surrounded by people that are musically inclined. And then I would just go there and I'll just, you know, start to record, produce, and I was like writing original songs and performing them, even at Wynn Woods, you know, in our like varsity ensemble, you know, like talent show or our varsity ensemble show, our talent show. I was writing and producing and recording songs and performing them around like 15, 16, 14, you know, so all throughout high school. So that's kind of like my earliest, you know, start. But I didn't really start actually making like Christian music and releasing it until like 2020, you know. So I started off more so like just, you know, rapping about whatever, and I was kind of in the world for a minute, you know, like I grew up in church, but then I was really still heavily just kind of involved in just being in the world. And then I got really saved in 2017. I had like a really crazy encounter with God, you know, and God pretty much, you know, wrestled me back in, you know, and really got me to focus. I sat down for about 3 years, you know, and just to get discipled, just to really stuff before I started releasing stuff. A lot of people don't go through that process, you know, but God, he like really put that banner on me, like, hey, you're gonna wait. And then 2020, I released my first record called Glorious. That was mixed by Scott Sims, who's also from Cincinnati. So got you. So you have literally all the connections. So that's my God.
So did you grow up? So you said you grew up in church, but you still kind of did your thing a little bit, and then God brought you back. I think it's really dope. And I think it's very important that artists take that time to kind of pause and kind of figure out just like their voice with him. And like your rhythm of following him and just being like, he's a rabbi, he's our teacher. Like he's discipling us. And I know disciple is like, that's not a word that kind of translates well, so we don't really know really how to talk about it. But I like to, I mean, I'm a hooper, you're a hooper too, so I just look at it like coaching. Like he's like our ultimate coach, and you have to sometimes sit down. Not you can't be working on stuff during the game. Can't be trying out new moves. Every once in a while you might have to improvise, throw a new play in there, but for the most part, you are practicing. You are really spending time, hours in the gym, working on just your footwork. You're working on little small things. I feel like it's the same thing when you're walking with God. So really key and dope that you took those 3 years to really kind of get your footing, get settled. And it's so much that I want to ask, man. Just
it reminds me of that. It's a meme with Patrick Ewing. And then he was just like, somebody took a crazy shot. Like, did you practice that shot? You know, what kind of shot is that?
It was crazy.
You know, so you gotta like sit down and actually get coached and actually practice what you preach. And sometimes people, you know, we get zealous and we just go full out the gate and just start. And some people are supposed to do that. Some people, you know, they have the grace and they learn and they, you know, stay in the lane. Some people, they rush into just like trying to, you know, make music and put it out there without taking that time to get discipled. And then that's how we kind of get, you know, just be real, you know, bad theology, or we get like people that, you know, go up and then have a rise moment, then they crash and burn. And the next thing you know, they're deconstructed or something, you know? So it's like, so God really took that time for me to really get settled, learn, serve at my church. You know, I serve still at my church, like, you know, like I almost like, you know, every other Sunday, you know, I'm on our audio team, on my worship team. So I'm worshiping, you know, throughout the week. So that comes through the music, you know? Man, that's super dope. That's super dope. And it's good to hear. It's good to hear a young artist that's really, and especially being from my city too, it's just like, that's special because I grew up around the Christian hip hop scene, and we'll probably get in that a little bit later in the show. So it's funny.
I guess all the clips that I saw of you were rapping.
Mhm.
So when you sent me the message earlier this week with the R&B, I was just kind of like, wait a minute. So like, he's one of those hybrids.
Mhm.
So I spent some time really listening to the song like this week because admittedly I'm new to your music.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is I want to give our Holy Culture listeners a chance to check out the song, and then we're going to come back on the backside and just kind of dig through the song. So go ahead and prep our Holy Culture fam to check out the song, man.
All right, yo, Holy Culture. This is DUPRAE with my brand new single Heaven right now, live and direct to you. It's about experiencing the presence of God while we're here on earth, and when we're in God's will, when we're in His presence, we can experience heaven here on earth.
All right, so this is the Be Positive Music Show. You guys don't go anywhere. We have so much more to get into. We'll be right back.
You need is me for real. Waiting on you, say peace, be still. Your presence, I need to feel. Yeah, ay. Hold me down, Lord, keep it real. Whatever's done, let it be your will. Your presence, I need to feel. Your presence on earth as it is in heaven. Heaven call down your presence.
All right, Holy Culture fan, we are back. B Plus here, hanging out with DUPRAE. You guys just checked out his latest single, Heaven. And now I just want to take a little bit of time just to talk about it. First of all, congrats on this new release. Like I said, new to your music. Is this your first like straight all R&B release? I've listened to some of your songs throughout this week. Mm-hmm. You have some touches of it, but this is your first full R&B release?
Yeah, I would say so, because like I feel like a lot of my records consist of R&B and rapping. Mm-hmm. Like I might start off the first verse off, singing, and the second verse might be more rap. But I feel like this is my first like legit like R&B, marketed song.
Okay. So do you have? We talked about influences in the first quarter of the show. Mm-hmm. Are there any like whether they're NCHH or not NCHH? Are there any influences you had that kind of has like that melodic sound or flow? Yeah,
man. There's a lot of people I feel like that have that sound and that lane that I'm trying to fill right now within Christian music. I think somebody that's doing that really well right now, just currently, is John Keith. John Keith, he's a beast, bro. Yeah. Like he's amazing. So like he really runs that lane really well between singing and then like singing very well,
right? And
between rapping, and
then he'll go pop.
And then he'll go pop, like, and then I know he just did a couple pop records. I think he's working on a whole pop album, like he's.
So he is?
Yeah, I think
that's news for me. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, I think he just like marketed that or just said that on Instagram recently, where he's focusing on mainly doing a pop record. He's phenomenal. I think just like overall influences, people that kind of have that sound that I aspire to have or am working with is like somebody like Black that's in the secular space, or like somebody like a Tory Lanez, or like people that can rap really well, but people who also can really sing and really will do either or, like. But I think in the Christian rap space, or just CHH, there's not a lot of people. Like Mike Teasy is somebody that does that. Mike Teasy, he will rap, and then he'll also like be able to sing and just be able to focus on that. Don Reddy, he's somebody else that does that.
He's very underrated.
Yeah, he is. I actually did a show with him when he came down here maybe a few years ago, where he came and visit Cincinnati, and he's phenomenal. But just in the R&B space, I really am looking at guys like Sam Rivera, Young Chris. A few cats that are like really just going crazy with it right now. So
yeah. One of my favorite who has like that melodic style of rap. I love Aha Gazelle.
Oh yeah, no, I can't forget him.
He's one of my favorite. He's like CHH can't quite put their arms around him, and I think I think he does that on purpose.
He does.
He kind of had like a pretty public breakup.
Yeah.
And he kind of did it on purpose, but I get it. He's running a specific lane, and I feel like he's running it well.
He doesn't want to be inauthentic to the space where he's just like, I'm trying to fit me into this box where like he knows that might not just be how he lives his life, and I respect that. That's how he wants to be represented, and he wants to be completely real and authentic to himself, and that comes out in his music. He's really fire. Like I love Aha, bro.
So when you're approaching your music, are you approaching it like, okay, I'm gonna approach this as a rapper, or approach this as a singer, or is it just like does it just kind of flow naturally, just the music just kind of flows out of you?
Yeah, it just flows naturally, honestly. Like, I ask the Lord what he wants to do with the song, and then like he'll, give me, a melody, or, like if I hear a beat and then instantly, I just want to take off on it, because this is a rap record, like, or if I instantly just get to singing, I was actually just talking to my wife earlier today. And then like I was going through my voice notes, and I have a ton of voice notes of just like song ideas. I have the earliest freestyle to the beat, having that was produced by my boy I'm OPV. And he's based out of Canada actually, which is super dope. So yeah, he sent me the beat, and then like the earliest like voice note was just me just like singing and just kind of going over the different melodies that's in the song, and then it was me later on adding words to it, and kind of like piecing it together like a puzzle almost. So yeah, that's how it came together.
Yeah, a lot of times people ask like, do you hear the beat first and you rap, or like which one do you do first? Like get the beat first or the lyrics first? But also you made the comment about the melody first. Like sometimes you may get the melody or the cadence, and then figure out the words on the back. I think No Big Deal. Was it No Big Deal? I think he might have said that recently, or I'm not sure. It might have been KB. Who knows? But yeah, man, I'm definitely enjoying your music. I feel like just like in you saying that, like you sing and you serve, and sing praise and worship at your church, like that easily like translate and flows into your music. And one of the songs, is it Prize? I'm playing out on Father's Day on my Father's Day show on the show. Like it's just, I thought it was perfectly well done.
Thank you.
And being a father myself, and so do you have a boy and a girl?
No, so I got two boys. I got a 3-year-old boy and I got a 10-month-old. So
wow, so you got a 10-month-old. Praying for you. Praying for you. I have my boy would be turning 7 really soon, and my girl is 9. So shout out to Savvy and Ice. Those are our homies, and obviously my wife, my beautiful wife. So how long have you been married?
It'll be 5 years at the end of this year. So I got married in 2020 during COVID, you know, so it was definitely a crazy time.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's beautiful. My wife Aaliyah, we've been together for about 7 years now.
Okay.
And then we had our oldest right after we got married, and then we just had my youngest, last year. So
gotcha.
Yeah, I'm enjoying being a dad. I'm enjoying being, just taking care of them. But last year, I really didn't do a whole lot musically, because my whole year is based upon just kind of like
the season of life you're in.
The season of life, but just having my, my second, transitioning, in the workspace, getting a new job to work to take care of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like
it's a lot.
Yeah. So being in the tech sales space, so I transitioned to that. So just taking care of them, home base. And then God was like, okay, now you got home base together. Now I need you. It's time to start firing these off. So
it's your first ministry. It's your first ministry. I was heavily involved in my church as well. I actually worked at my church at the time when my daughter was born, and it was just like, and I was a finance manager, so I was doing everything from like I was there all day long.
Yeah.
And it was just like a conscious effort of like, I have to kind of pull back now. I got to pull back now and just kind of take care of home. And then we moved to Texas, and then we had Isaiah, and now I kind of feel like, and you might be able to relate to this, like when you're serving and you're heavily involved in church, it's like you're in the game, you're on the court playing.
Yeah.
And then sometimes through church hurt, sometimes through burnout, sometimes through the season of life.
Yeah.
I found myself not on the court anymore, but like way up in the nosebleed, 300 level. But I feel like slowly over the past 5 years, God's been moving me down.
Yeah.
And like just like maybe 2 years ago, I felt like God was like, you're on the bench now.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting ready to launch you back out there. And then shortly thereafter, I ran the Trig at Holy Culture Radio.
Wow.
And I'm back out here hooping.
Yeah.
I'm back out here hooping. I'm loving it.
That's awesome.
My opportunity is to serve CHH. And be able to have conversations like this and highlight smaller artists, aspire to talk to bigger artists as well. But it's all about just service. It's all about service, man. So,
I love that, man. That's so awesome.
Super dope. So you being from Cincinnati, I want you to pick a couple songs, one for K-Drama, one for D-Maub. We're going to give our Holy Culture listeners a quick taste of Cincinnati real quick.
Yeah, man. We can start off with D-Maub. He just dropped this album called Revamped.
Yeah.
And is fire. He's so technical with it. He's, so professional.
Yeah.
He
absolutely.
was Cincinnati, D-Mob, he's so professional. He has a song with Scott called I Can't Vibe With Everybody.
Hey,
and that's
actually, let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
I know you was gonna say that, but look at the back of the shirt.
I can't vibe with everybody, man. That's why he's so professional.
That's why he's so
because he's got the good company, he's got the you know the brand, and then he's got the tag. I can't vibe with everybody, and that's just a further insight into the scripture of good and bad company corrupts good morals.
Yeah,
so he's like, I can't vibe with everybody. I can't get everybody because everybody can't be around you because it's a lot easier for somebody to pull you down than it is for you to pull them up.
Yeah.
And God calls us to pull some people up, but we can't pull everybody up just because.
Yeah.
So I can't vibe with everybody. People
song.
That's how they do you. So I really rock with that song. So we're gonna go with that one for D-Maub.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna take it back a few years for K-Drama because right when I got saved in 2017, he dropped the project, and he has a song called "Catch This Wave," and that's one of my favorite songs from him, man. Like, and that song is just so hard. So yeah, I think I want to run that one too.
All right, Holy Culture family, you guys sit back, relax, check out a little bit of a taste of Cincinnati, and we will be right back.
And I live what I believe. If you know that you're gonna see. I can't vibe with everybody. I can't vibe with everybody. I can't vibe with everybody.
Hey, I can't vibe with everybody. I can't vibe with everybody.
I can't vibe with everybody. I can't vibe with everybody.
The burdens, me wanna see some hurt in. Record labels they be jerking, not paying me my earnings. Feels like I'm in the furnace. I ain't not supposed to talk about this. I'm supposed to brag about my blessings. What happened to being real? What happened to teaching lessons? For a while, every time I grabbed the pen, I was facing many questions. Self-doubt, second guessing. Whether or not my ministry's a blessing. Seems like I give more than I take, and I feel the impact. In fact, I don't feel intact, yet I will enact.
Welcome back, HCR fam. What's up, positive people? We are back live with DUPRAE. This is B+, and go ahead and let us know what we heard the last set.
Yes, sir. So that was I Can't Vibe With Everybody by D-Maub, and that was Catch This Wave by K-Drama, Cincinnati legends and OGs.
Yeah. And speaking of that, like I said, like D-Maub is he's my literal god brother.
Yeah.
Like last time I was here in town, it's for my brother's wedding, and he was right there in the wedding. So like that's my for real god brother.
Wow.
And K-Drama, he went to Princeton.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of
that. You see, now I got beef with him too. Exactly. Now I got to run up on him.
So you understand?
I'm with you. Yeah.
So like, so I was just kind of like, he's this young kid from Princeton selling tapes.
Yeah.
And he had that whole kind of crunk kind of like really abrasive style. And I was more on like this cross movement. Yeah. And like here in town we had a group called Forever in Christ Music. So I was more into like that style. And I was like, man, who's this young kid? So I had a couple strikes against
FIC. I think I do recall FIC.
Yeah. So they're local legends in this in the Christian hip hop scene. But I just want to ask you about your current perspective of like not just CHH, but probably CHH and just hip hop in general. Like what excites you, what concerns you?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the current state of CHH because I think that we are breaking boundaries. That were kind of like placed, on Christian. I don't know if you've seen the trends that are going on really heavily last year. People said CHH is corny. People say Christian rap is corny, man. Show them this, I know I made like one or two of those, but I was just like, I ain't gonna keep, whatever. Because the funny thing is just like, who is saying that? Like, who actually? But like that has been the overall stigma. Yeah, I think that people have, grasped, from like just the past. Like, I want to hear that Christian rap or whatever, But like the quality of music has gone up. And I think when I got saved, like I wasn't really, doing just Christian music. I was doing shows around the city and the tri-state, just kind of like building my brand in a secular space. And and I think when I came over just to Christian music back around like 2017, I think my biggest gripe was that like, why does it feel like we're just in this bubble? So I feel like it's just a bubble of Christian rap. And Christian R&B kind of more like, I feel like, even though it's been around, like people like cats like Christian Grey, who's been doing, Christian R&B and a bunch of other people. Yeah. I think it's really becoming even more popular as far as like being like widespread in the last like however many years. Mm-hmm. But I feel like we were always in this bubble. So now I feel like we're kind of breaking out of that barrier. Like for me, I always wanted to be able to float between not just secular spaces. So it's not like I'm just trying to be in secular spaces, but more so like outside of the bubble of CHH to reach people, you know, to make sure that we can, you know, still spread the gospel through music, you know, still be able to reach people. And I feel like now people, the quality of music has ascended to where people, like Miles Minnick says, it's the new mainstream.
Yeah, it is.
You know, so like they just did Rolling Loud, you know, not that long ago.
Yep.
You know, I'm expecting Coachella performances, you know, like in the future. So it's kind of like breaking past the box that, you know, we've been put in, you know, to kind of be more like how Lecrae's been able to move in certain sectors. You know, I first seen Cray on like the BET Cypher.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to see more of us like on certain platforms doing what we do.
That would be dope.
You know, like and that's always been my dream, as far as like what I feel like God's placed in my heart to do is like to be able to transcend barriers, to kind of be like, okay, I'm going to be in this, like it's Christian music. Like I'm a Christian rapper, I'm a Christian R&B artist, I'm a Christian artist, but like I want to be able to still float through different sectors of different places to where our music isn't, you know, as popular or the majority. That's
being all things to all men.
Yes.
And that's what we're called to do. We're not called to just be pew sitters. We're not called to sit back. And I love a good theological debate.
Yes, me too.
But at the same time, it's like, we gonna sit and do that all day? No. We gonna sit down and break down every single denomination, and we gonna do this? Or so we trying to convert people to our denominations, but what about just converting people from darkness to light? Like, can we just bro? Can we do that? So that's really enlightening. Let's keep going. I had another thought. Well, actually, let's go back to just something you said about Christian hip hop in general. We were talking off camera just about like the different pockets. As far as like what Indie Tribe has going, and them creating their own festival. And you got on the West Coast, you got Miles Minnick. He's raising up just like that whole West Coast scene. Tribal Records, I believe they're affiliated. They just signed Christopher Sincere. He just dropped the album, and the guy he used to do secular, Futuristic.
Did they sign him too?
Yes, his album. I just listened to his album maybe a few days ago.
I love Futuristic, bro. He's actually one of my earlier influences. Him,
man.
Kyle.
I want to make sure. I don't want to misspeak. I'm pretty sure that he's with Tribal.
He might be from what I've seen. I think I might have seen something like that too. But yeah, I love Futuristic, man. I love what he's doing right now. What God is doing with him it's really full circle. I love watching people go on their journey, because I was following him years ago, you know, watching his music videos, you know, like his whole group that he ran with, like were big influences for me in high school. So it's super dope. He has
a new album with it's with Tribal Records. It's called Finally Found.
Love that, bro. I need to check that out. Like, and actually, like,
it's fire. The first song has like Maverick City on it and everything. He's definitely doing his thing. So I really do feel like Christian music in general is becoming the new mainstream. Like, it is. Like, I love what Dilly said. Like, what do you say? Hip hop is looking for a renaissance. Only problem is the Christians got it. We got it. We do. Like, we really do got it. And I grew up. I've been listening to Christian hip hop since the 90s. Yeah. Like, so I won't say that. So I understand like the whole corny background, because I grew up where like the amount of effort and money it took to actually get into a studio and to pay for a decent beat, it was just really steep. Yeah. So a lot of the production just really wasn't there. A lot of the quality, the mixing, mastering just wasn't there. So I get why people say like I was just kind of corny. But like now there's no excuse. Yeah. There's zero excuse. Yeah. If you're still listening to trash rap, it's just because you kind of low key like
you're not looking. You kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like that's
And it's like I get it too, because every once in a while, like, contrary to popular belief, you cannot walk in the spirit 24/7 and float around. No. So I understand you have your moments where I'm like, I just want to see what's out there. Yeah. You just kind of listen to it. But if a consistent diet of that stuff is just not, it's not good for your health at all. Not good for your health at all. So I guess you can really say you've been in your career now for in your music career for about 5 years. So what would you say, like, this early in your career, like, what are some of your biggest challenges you faced so far? And also, how did you kind of overcome those?
Yeah, I think for me, like, the biggest thing that I really had to overcome, and I think a lot of people, is just more so the discipline and consistency. Like, I think in my head, it's like, and I can hear some of the records that I make, and then one moment I'll be like, man, this is wild. Like, I really feel like I should be here right now. And then it's just like, but when you really look at the work that it takes to get into certain spaces, the consistency that certain people like, for instance, like Childlike Cece, you know, she followed me on Instagram. I think she had like 400 followers, and that might have been like just a few years ago. And then like she just
dropped a song with Lecrae yesterday.
What is the term? Meteoric? I don't know.
Yeah, Meteoric Rise. Yeah.
It's been insane. I just love watching what she does. And it's just like her consistency with content, with music, with just like the output, you know, I just love it, you know, like, and that's what it takes to get to certain places, like just being consistent. Like all those cats that where they're at right now, Indie Tribe, Miles, like all people that are kind of running these lanes, you know, it's like they've been consistent, you know, everyone at Reach, you know, they've been consistent with just their output. They have that system. So for me, I think there's more so consistency, and now I'm getting to a place of understanding, okay, this is what I got to do. So I got I probably got like maybe 10 to 15 just records just like ready just to go, and I'm just like dropping this whole year going into the next.
You think you're gonna go single route, or you're gonna formulate an album around?
Yeah, so I'm going single route, and then like I'm also not gonna be afraid to release albums, kind of like, because if you see some of the newer ways of people releasing music, like you got like people like La Russell, you got people who like just Russ himself, or just like Nick D or Connor Price, like these kind of like people who are like they'll just outwork you, and they'll just work, and they'll drop an album. And I think albums, as important as they are, people, I feel like what's been in my mind a mental hurdle is like, okay, I got my debut album, it has to be like this big thing, my first album. But people low-key don't look at albums like that anymore, you know. It's kind of like when Kendrick dropped his first album, you know, like you know, if you want to call that Good Kid, Mad City, even though you had like Section 80 and stuff, whatever, like you want to call that Good Kid, Mad City, that was like the big debut, but that was like 10 plus years ago. And back then people looked at albums almost differently, but now we're not like, oh man, their debut album is dropping now. It's just kind of like, you got people like Rusty, like I got 15 albums out, and he was like, La Russell, I think he just said he dropped his like 17th album or something insane, you know. But the way that we're talking about social media off cam, like the way social media has, you know, and just the way the music consumption has changed, it is more microwave society. It is more like you just dropped, hey, when's the next one drop? I'm like, bro, I just dropped the 15 song project. When's the next one dropping? Like, you know, like, so now I'm getting out of that mindset of like everything has to be so perfectly crafted, you know, and put together. I'm like, look, I'm gonna drop 10 singles, I'll drop an album, I'll go back to dropping singles, I'll drop another album, you know, like I just want to get my music catalog up to give people a place to land. You're
getting shots up too.
You know, getting shots up in the gym, you know, so that like, you know, they might not all, you know, be, you know, game winners, and they might all be threes, you know. I might get some bunnies in, you know, like, and just like, you know, just get that mid-range going.
You gotta start there.
So that's my whole point right now. It's just like getting as much music out as possible, and that's the bag where I'm at, kind of that mental hurdle that I had to overcome.
That's encouraging for me, even like being like in this content creation space, and trying to find my ways to grow my channel, find ways to get more listeners over to Holy Culture Radio and things like that. Like it does sometimes feel like you're screaming at a wall, and you're just kind of like, I thought this video was going to be like this, and then it's not. But then you do something that's kind of, I randomly go live, and then that one goes, and I'm just kind of like, all right, God, I'm just going to just give this to you. I'm just going to do this as unto you. So
to even for like further your point, it's like the reel that you, I think, actually kind of discovered me on Instagram on recently, where you kind of saw me. I think I was in my backyard. And I was like, that was my second reel that I did in the past, like, in over a year. Like I said, last year I was really just focused on just like taking care of my family, and then like I feel like God got all these records for me together, and then I just started posting reels again. And I did one reel where I was like sitting in my church, one of my old churches. And then like it was kind of like a play on like the whole Marvin Sapp thing that was going on, so I was like, Marvin Sapp said close the door, so I've been here since then, and it was just me singing Heaven, you know, like in the church pew, like. And then that video kind of did decently, but then the second video I dropped where I was in the backyard, it was just on a whim, and I was just like, you know what, babe, I was talking to my wife, I feel like I just want to do a reel right now, and I just like got my setup in the backyard, you know. I had some what's it called, haze in the can, where I was kind of spraying around like the haze to make the light, you know, look a certain way, and that did like 40K, you know. And that was my first reel that really did that amount, and I gained like over 1,000 followers just from that reel, you know. And like, it was so encouraging to me because it's like you never know which one's gonna go. So
know.
you just gotta keep being consistent, just keep putting it out there, because you never know like who will tap in, you know, like based upon just what you're doing. But had I never dropped that reel, like some motion that I got wouldn't have happened. So now I'm just trying to keep being consistent, you know. That's
encouraging. So let's get back to some more music. Go ahead, tee up another song for us to check out.
Let's tap in with No Big Deal, with Kato on the track and the Legend Project Pat. Let's listen to Never Going Back.
All right, check it out, y'all.
They marvel at the flip like they was looking at the vision. Long as I got sort of spirit, know that I can never lack. Know the Lord, he go before me, keep the cross up on my back. Tell my story for his glory. We ain't never going back. We ain't never going back. We ain't never going back.
God, keep that good in me. On my face is Louis B. Project lived a life of sin. I was in that foolery.
Holy Culture fam, we are rounding out our hour together. DUPRAE, so thankful for you stopping by, because this has just been a blessing, on camera, off camera, all the connections from Cincinnati, all the connections from the Winton Woods days, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so grateful to be here, bro.
Yeah, this has been really dope. So let's know what that last song was, and then we'll hop back in.
Yeah, and that was No Big Deal, Kato on the track, Project Pat, Never Going Back.
Yeah, that kind of rhyme. You just do it like that. You just
maybe it just comes maybe it just comes naturally.
This goes naturally. Well, dope. We'll want to wrap up the hour. And we talked a little bit about a lot of different Christian hip hop artists throughout the show. What are some, I guess, upcoming collaborations, people you're aspiring to work with, or just kind of let us know like what's kind of bubbling up for you?
Yeah, man. So I kind of give like the whole, I guess, the workaround. So my goal, my dreams, my, kind of like aspirations. So right now I got a lot of collaborations with my TLS homies. Shout out TLS. I got some tracks in the works with Bill B, with Trutha. I got something cooking with C4, feature for him. I got, so in about a week or so, I'm dropping a track with my homie GB. And that's called Glory.
So you rock with all, like, TLS are the homies, like,
absolutely,
like Trutha, Mike Wise, Mitch Durrell. Mitch Durrell's the homie. He's like one of my favorite follows. I don't know why. One thing about me is I fall in love with the person, and then like me, like loving you as an artist comes later. Some people are just really, really dope. You just like kind of fall in love with that as an artist. But for me, generally, I fall in love with the person first, their heart for ministry, their love for the craft, things like that. So Mitch is one of them ones for me. So you rock with all, and I'm pretty sure Bill B is there in Dallas.
I think he just got back. I think he's in Columbus now.
Okay.
So I got connected with him a couple years ago.
He moved up here.
Yeah, so he's back up here. So I don't know, might want to tap with him too. I was tapping with him, but I love those cats, man. I talk to those guys dang near every day, pretty much. So we have a real community in there. We send each other rough drafts. We encourage each other. You got Just Raised, he's in there, like
homie too, man.
Q, all those guys, man. I love all those dudes. So I got some works with those guys.
Okay.
With Bill. I actually got something with Just Raised that's gonna be coming out, around the summertime. I got my homie Kiwi Morse. I got some stuff cooking with him. My homie Legend. Legend is based out of Virginia, I believe. So I got tapped in with him. So like
busy.
Busy, but
a good kind of busy.
A good busy, not overwhelming. I'm just ready just to unload a clip. Working with the R&B album with my boy Shamir. So he got tapped in through C4 and through my reel and through I was kind of like on his live. He always wanted to do an R&B album. I feel like God's pulling me to focus more on Christian R&B, and kind of blend my styles together and really focus on R&B. So we got a project working right now called Far From the Tree. It's gonna be amazing. He's a beast. And then I want to work with some of my Cincinnati legends like K Drama and like D-Maub. So I want to get some stuff cooked up with them. And then aspire to work with people, all the way up to the likes of KB. So like holding on side of KB is actually part of one of the reasons why I got saved. So
talk about it really quick. We got time.
So real quick. I went through a really crazy time in my life. How I got saved. Just being in the world. I was actually on a really bad LSD trip, and God literally, restored my mind and rescued me from like a really bad LSD trip where I literally called out to Jesus, like in the height of having a bad LSD trip. Didn't know what else to do. Wasn't even in church, around that time. I called to Jesus, and in that moment when I said the word Jesus, when I called his name, like I literally like sobered up, regained like, you know, this consciousness. I was like, it was, so he literally, like people say like, oh, Jesus, he turned my life around, he saved my mind. Like I almost lost my mind. Like, no, I literally almost lost my mind, and God literally saved me from that. So then from there, I went on this whole, you know, binge of turning my life back around, got back into the church. That was around the time when KB dropped, I want to say is Tomorrow We Live.
Okay.
And he has a song on there called Drowning. And he was like visiting, he visited Cincinnati, and I actually met him when he visited Cincinnati because he met with some of the fans. And that song Drowning literally had me surrender to God in my room, you know, like I was just crying out to God, you know, just singing the words, you know, save me from me before I drown. So it's like, save me from me before I drown. And I was just in my room just bawling. And that kind of started my journey. So I always attribute like, you know, my salvation to getting saved, you know, KB is part of the reason why that happened. So
it's amazing how the Lord can use Christian hip hop in that way. I tell you
powerful. That song's so anointed, bro. Like it literally is like powerful, and that's what we need, you know.
We need more authentic. I feel like Christian hip hop and also Christian alternative music, it's authentic in a way that sometimes praise and worship. I mean, there's songs of Thanksgiving, there's songs of praise, there's songs of just adoration of like his lordship and his kingship, but like I think 1/3 of the Psalms are laments and just crying out. But I feel like sometimes we don't get that enough. But I feel like Christian hip hop, when it's done well, it can really tap into that. So that's an amazing testimony, man. And I'm excited for your year, man. That's gonna be a lot of fun. And I count it an honor, man, just to randomly on about five days ago, just for you to reach out to me as I'm getting ready to come to Cincinnati, and now here we are. Like this is crazy. So Holy Culture fam, this has been DUPRAE. A great introduction of just for me and also for you guys as well. So I want to encourage you guys to tap in with his music. Once again, this is the Be Positive Music Show. And until next time, peace in, confusion out, and be positive. Hey, what's going on, positive people? Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. Make sure you like, share, and leave a comment below of your thoughts on this video. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Be positive, y'all.